It is shit. It is. It is. It's shit.
It is a matter of life and death.
There's this whole mentality that some people have that abortion is a form of murder.
Do you think, though, that every child deserves to live their own independent life?
Many of the arguments put forward by the pro-choice side are very vague. They're too vague, and because it's a matter of life and death, vagueness is not something that should be acceptable in this area.
I'm gonna leave it there because I'm back today.
That's not safe. I don't think that's safe.
I don't know why I'm so nervous. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know I've been away for a while, and I would just like to apologise. Do you know, like, honestly, if I'm gonna keep it real, as you guys know, I am a law student, so a lot of things happen in my course which require me to take a lot of time to myself to study and to also study. Okay, but I definitely do take this channel so seriously, and I love you guys all, and thank you so much for all of your support and your help and encouraging words. So welcome anyone who has been with me from the very start, and anyone who has just joined, welcome to my channel. Okay. Before I even start this video, I think it's very important to say to younger viewers, viewer discretion. This topic is really sensitive, and I would just like to make that known now before I start speaking and before you start seeing other things. The topic of this is about abortion and repealing the 8th Amendment. The purpose of this video is to inform everyone in Ireland and around the world about what's going on right now in Ireland. At the moment, there is a petition going on for a referendum to repeal the 8th Amendment. Before I go on, I really need to stress this. The purpose of this video is not to change your opinion. It's not to bash anyone. It's not to disrespect anyone's viewpoint, religion, or ideas, or anecdotes or experiences. That is not the reason why I wanted to do this video. The reason why I wanted to do this video was to literally put out viewpoints out there, differences of opinions. I have gotten gorgeous girls who were willing to be interviewed by me, and some are pro-choice and some are pro-life. I've received written statements from ladies who feel really strongly about repealing the 8th, and some who feel like the 8th Amendment does not need to be repealed. Feel free to comment anything you want to, but just remember that we all have freedom of speech, and just remember that we are all different. Even if you're pro-life or even if you're pro-choice, even pro-choice people think differently within their own group. Even pro-life people think differently within their own group. I think it's important to understand what the 8th Amendment actually is. The 8th Amendment was enacted on the 7th of September 1983, and you can find the 8th Amendment online or in the Irish Constitution. I'll read it out. It's in Article 43(3), and it reads: "The state acknowledges the right to life of the unborn, and with due regard to the equal right to the life of the mother, guarantees in its laws to respect and, as far as practicable by its laws, to defend and vindicate that right." 66.9% voted yes and 33.1% voted no. Now, some Irish people want this to be repealed because they feel that it is a form of discrimination, and it doesn't allow women have their own right to their own body. So the 8th Amendment effectively introduce a ban on abortion. There are special circumstances where doctors will abort the baby, where the mother's life is in danger. It's a serious video, but relax. Okay, so enough about me. Here is the lovely Chica, and she is pro-choice, and here's what she had to say.
Hi guys, my name is Chica. I'm 18 and I study law in DIT. I actually have a YouTube channel myself. I feel really passionate about this whole situation. I I'm definitely pro-choice. I think it's really important for people to have a choice with what they do with their bodies.
So what is the 8th Amendment to you?
I feel like it's a medium of restriction for girls. A lot of people think really badly about the whole situation. I feel like there has been a stigma created around people who are pro-choice when really they haven't considered that if the 8th Amendment was repealed, a lot of good could be done and a lot of bad situations could be completely assuaged. Situations like rape, or you know, people just aren't ready if they feel like they're not ready to give birth. They're just too young. And I know that people believe that things happen for a reason, but I feel like if we keep pushing this and it was repealed, it would create a world where people could do what they want with their bodies, because I personally don't feel like with this 8th Amendment that I fully own my body, because I could think that I can do anything I want with my body, but really I can't.
To me, the 8th Amendment is the final protection for the unborn baby. I feel that the unborn child is the most vulnerable person in society. They have no voice or platform for which to be heard, and the 8th Amendment offers them this protection. So I feel like that if it was repealed or taken away, then they'd have no protection whatsoever, and it's very important because they have no voice of their own. Hi, my name is Etna and I'm a law student in DCU.
Do you think that it's a bit dangerous in the sense that if it was repealed, do you feel that people would use it as another form of contraception?
I don't agree with abusing repealing the 8th. Personally, I wouldn't get myself into the situation where I would have an abortion. I feel like it can be used definitely in medical situations, definitely for rape. I honestly don't know why it's not legal to get an abortion if you've been raped. Why? I don't understand why they'd want to enforce a child on somebody who didn't ask for it. It's not fair. There's this whole mentality that some people have that abortion is a form of murder, but at the same time, if I was raped or if I was about to die because of like giving birth, there's no malicious intent. You know, I'm doing this for, I would be having an abortion in that circumstance to better my own life and to better my family's lives, because I'm putting my life out of risk. By having an abortion, I'm not going out of my way to kill somebody. I'm doing it for my health, for my life, and so that I won't cause pain to people that love me as well.
While I don't think it should be repealed, if it were to be repealed, I think that if it came to a referendum, there should be some drafted legislation so people know what they're voting for, and that would either make more people vote to repeal it or less people vote to repeal it, because if we just get rid of the only protection, which is the 8th Amendment, without having any kind of alternative, then it just leaves it completely open for anything that could come in, and it could end up like in America, in the US, where there's, I think it's 9 states that there's abortion available up until the 9-month period, which that is a child in my opinion, but in anyone else's opinion, anybody who gives birth prematurely, that's their baby, that's their child, and when it's born it has rights, and I don't think that just because a child isn't born they shouldn't have rights.
Do you believe that once a baby is conceived, it is known as a baby, like a human being?
Yes, I do think that. I know, I'm not going to deny it. Priorities have to be made, and you have to, in your circumstance, in your life, what's important and what you need to do. You could die by giving birth, or you've been raped. I don't think that just because there is some life that it should destroy yours. I just don't think that it's fair. Yeah, I do understand why people are pro-life, but I just think that in some cases that it's just unfair.
So there's 2 reasons why I'm pro-life. First of all, from a logical point of view, when I sit down and think about abortion, the thing that just comes to my mind straight away is that it is a life, it has a heartbeat, it has brain streams, and it is a living human being, and in my eyes killing it is ending an actual human life. Another question I would have for the pro-choice side is when they say that a child does not constitute a child until it's independently viable and should not have rights until it's independently viable. Would they also say that someone in a coma after a terrible accident who's relying on a life support machine, how come they have rights if they are not also independently viable? And I don't feel that it should be a matter of location, as in when people give birth then the child suddenly has rights, but when it's in their womb they don't have rights, even though the child is the same age or could even be older. I also am pro-life because I haven't come across a set time limit or anything as to when it should be okay to have an abortion or it shouldn't be okay to have an abortion. Like, when should there be a cut-off point? Should it be 6 months? Should it be 5 months? For example, up until about 6 months ago, a child could not survive outside the womb before 24 weeks. Now it's 22 weeks, and with like advances in medicine it's only going to get lower and lower. So why is a child that 6 months ago wasn't independently viable and wouldn't have had rights in the eyes of some pro-choice people, why does it suddenly have rights now just because it is independently viable? I don't think that's a good enough argument, considering it is someone's life at stake. I'm also pro-choice because it is a matter of life and death, and that's why I feel so strongly about it, even though some people would say, well, I've never been pregnant, I wouldn't understand. It is a matter of life and death. On a personal level, the reason I'm pro-life and what happened was, before I used to be pro-choice, well, so to speak, I never actually sat down and thought about it, but I always thought to myself, oh god, if I ended up pregnant or if one of my friends did, abortion is always an option. Which again, I would say that if I'm thinking that personally, then a lot of other people my age would have been thinking that abortion is like a last resort in terms of contraception. But what happened to me was, one of my friends had a pregnancy scare. She thought she was pregnant, and we both sat down, we both said, well sure, we can just go and get you an abortion. And while I know and I understand that for abortion for most people and a lot of people is a very difficult decision to make, and it's a very hard thing to follow through with, for us as just teenage girls who were of age to have sex and all, for us it was just a form of contraception, and it was just a suggestion that she could just go and get an abortion. So then I went home and I sat down and I thought about it to myself, because now the question was actually in front of me, would I support my friend if she went through with it? And I just thought it through from a logical, moral point of view and came to the conclusion that I couldn't condone that, I couldn't support it, because for me it was a life, and that's why I'm pro-life now. And while I am a practicing Catholic and religion does play a large part of my life, I'm very sceptical of a lot of the teachings of the Catholic Church and a lot of their practices. So just because they say pro-choice or pro-life is the way to go is not why I would decide to be. It's a personal decision and it's from actual research. Just because I'm pro-choice doesn't mean that I'd want people to abuse the situation. Like, for example, I saw the whole there's a bus that's going around giving out abortion pills. That's psychotic. What the hell? That's not safe. I don't think that's safe. But like I said, medical reasons, rape, and you know your body and you know when you're ready.
Do you think, though, that every child deserves to live their own independent life, and that's not the child's fault and they should still just be given a chance
It's
to
not the child's fault, and they shouldn't have that burden of whatever their biological father did hanging over their lives. It is shit. It is. It is. It's shit. There is definitely a group of people who are pro-life that are pro-life for religious reasons, and I'm not an atheist. Like, I'm Christian. Like, I go to mass. I want the whole stigma around people who want abortions and are pro-choice to be gone, because I think that when people hear that people are pro-choice, they think that they're these like raging feminists or heartless or atheists, I just want people to understand that being pro-choice doesn't make you a bad person or selfish.
If the 8th Amendment is repealed, I feel it will have serious impact on society in general and on younger generations specifically. As I said, for the short story I gave for the reason I am pro-life, lots of teenagers and lots of like girls particularly would consider abortion as an option if they got pregnant. Teenagers can be quite reckless. I know myself from my past, I can be quite reckless, and they don't think, and while contraception is out there, it's not always something they're going to do, and then their last resort is to have an abortion. And I feel like while it wouldn't bring in abortion in demand in older people, I feel like there would be abortion in demand in teenagers. I feel like they would look on it as a form of contraception, which it most certainly is not. It's somebody's life. I also feel that it would lower the standard of care in Ireland, as there is studies showing that Ireland is the safest place to have a child, to give birth, and I feel like it definitely would lower this. I feel like the impact would be, we would bring in policies similar to that in Denmark, where they wish to have a Down syndrome free society by I think it was 2020, which to me is just absolutely horrific to think about. Down syndrome people and any person with a disability, they are people and they have rights. Legally they have rights. So to start a screening process to get rid of them is essentially saying to somebody with a disability who is already grown up and already living that their life is not as important as mine or anyone else who is lucky enough not to have a disability.
I hope that it will be positive, because then I think people would have more respect for the Irish Constitution, because they would think, okay, well at least my country thinks that it's okay for me to do what I want with my body.
To the argument of bodily autonomy, I would say that we all have rights, but we only have rights insofar as they do not infringe on another person's right. And while the right to bodily autonomy is definitely very important, it is not as important as the right to life. And essentially exercising your right to bodily autonomy as a pregnant woman is completely eradicating another human being's right to life. In terms of calling the unborn child or the unborn baby a fetus and saying it's just a ball of cells, essentially we are just a ball of cells. That's all we are, and our cells change all the time. I would say that when the pro-choice side would argue that a fetus is not a child or a baby until it is born, what about in cases of operations where the child is taken out of the womb while still connected by the umbilical cord and then put back into the womb? Are they suddenly a fetus, then taken out a baby and then put back in a fetus? Or do they remain a fetus through the whole thing, even though they have by definition been born into the world? Or do they have the rights while they're born and then those rights are taken away because they're back in the womb?
And I really, really respect people who are pro-life, but in shit circumstances, I think that repealing the 8th is completely necessary.
I would just like to thank the girls that came and spoke on my channel once again. I love you guys so much and thank you for making this video. Contraception is not 100% safe. There are more sinister reasons as to why abortion should be legal in Ireland, the main one being rape. My heart has been beating since I was 21 days old. Am I a child or a choice? Official inquiries into her death found that the real issue was the management of sepsis, not abortion. Suction, 6 to 14 weeks. A tube with a knife-edged tip is inserted into the uterus. The baby is torn apart by suction from the tube and the head is crushed. I'm gonna leave it there because on a personal level...
So don't forget to subscribe to April's channel, because like April's so cute. April's so pretty. Guys, isn't April such a gentle she's such a gentle being? I actually, you know, like you could like teach. Oh. Because you're very like your instructions are very soft. you know.
Aw, that's so sweet.
So she's just a very gentle person. So yeah, guys, subscribe to April's channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. The link will be in the description box.